Hey, Wanderers, if your inbox is screaming New Year, new travel sales like it was Black Friday at Christmas time, you're not alone. Stand by in just a minute, and we're going to talk with you about how to best react to that and what's the best way to proceed through that. But if you're not familiar with us, or this is the first time you're stopping by, I'm Steve,
And I'm Laura.
and we are the Wandering Empty Nesters, and we are back in the home nest. I got to tell you, it's a little bit colder here that after spending a month in basically tropical weather. Coming back to the home nest, it is 29 degrees this morning. So,
Snowing.
yeah, and snowing. So, not an outdoor. You're downstairs in the Nest studio. And today we're covering all the big events. So, right after the first of the year begins, after New Year, you've got a bunch of airline stuff, a lot of spring break booking going on, but also the big one that is coming up is wave season. And if you're not familiar with what wave season is like Black Friday for the cruise lines. And this runs basically it starts a little bit as January goes, and then it really hits its stride towards the end of January where they all get involved, and it runs through March. And this is when the cruise industry is basically offering their best deals both on travel, excursions, and extras that go along with it. So it may not be specifically the travel deal or a particular cruise, but maybe they're going to offer a deal on the drink package or something like that. Are you seeing any in your inbox now that you search more? And we all think that our phones and whatnot listen to
Listening.
us.
Facebook listens.
Yeah. So are you seeing stuff on Facebook and that?
I am seeing a few more things, yes.
Yeah. And have any of them caught your interest? You haven't told me about any of them. I don't know if you're booking any behind my back.
No.
You never can tell.
I just shop behind your back.
Yeah. Okay. Well, that's true. Well, and then she said, so the big question really is, how to identify what is really good and what isn't. And of course, the first way is to ask your travel advisor. But, sometimes it's not bad to come to your travel advisor with an idea that you already have. Hey, I saw this, and can you do better? And I'm going to tell you, if you're just talking about price, the possibility is maybe no. But they also might be able to do some stuff for you along with extras that go with it that you can't always get it. But really, there's three basic questions that you really always need to ask yourself in any sale, but particularly one like this that tugs on the heartstrings or your travel lust because maybe you really want to do it. And the first one was it already on your radar? Of course, were you already planning something for 2026? And I think most of us are. Excuse me. And is it realistic with the timing in your life? Now, this is the one that I think most people miss. You're going to see those headlines come in on Facebook or in your email, and it's going to say $49 sale or 7-day cruise for $399. But the hitch is it's category related or it's time related. The one thing that most people
Sometimes both.
very often both. The one thing most people miss is there's two things around travel sales, particularly. Well, actually, it's in all of them: hotel, airfare, or cruising. And that is the two keys are booking date. But when do you have to book this in order to get this deal? And then travel date.
Mm-hmm.
When does the travel have to be completed by, or what travel dates are open that this sale is around? And that is, for most people, a lot of research. It's generally not up in front. It's generally not right there. If you go all the way down at the bottom of the email, it's probably in the little bitty print right at the bottom. Or when you go to it, you're going to see, minor selections, and you may not see the whole itinerary that they have available. And so that's something else that, a cruise or travel advisor, specifically one who's dealt with cruises before, can help you navigate. And you might be flexible. You might think, well, we were thinking about going in July, but maybe we could do late May or something like that. And that's another thing I want to tell people right up front. Look, all these sales, those off school times, generally are not going to be there. You're going to see a lot of deals right now. I'll tell you one of the biggest deals all the time that Royal Caribbean runs. And right now they're running it. And they always have this, but then they'll throw in some other extras here and there. We see NCL with this too. Third and fourth person free or kids sale free. Those are big headline triggers to bring you in.
But most people can't take them. Because
especially the kids travel free. It's never available when your kids are off school, right?
Yeah.
Because let's be totally honest about this. They don't need to run a discount to get you to travel on a cruise or in a hotel or to Disney. They don't need to run a travel sale on the summertime because they're filling up anyway if they're not already full. That is another thing, folks, is that these periods of time you can definitely find deals for this year, without a doubt. Especially if you already have one on hold, you can often find a better one. So you should never, unless forced to, pay full price, especially on non-refundables. Don't make that final payment until you're absolutely have to, because these can come along, and very often if you have made final payments, you can switch. But if you're booking beyond that, 2027, some cruise lines have bookings open for 2028. You can definitely find a lot of things you're going to look for, not only price, but maybe cabin. Oh, we like the aft view cabin, and we've been in aft view, and that was pretty good,
It
right?
was good.
Huge balcony, great view, a little bit obstructed, but the space was, we couldn't beat that. Um, and maybe you want adjoining cabins. These are things that there aren't, that everything isn't available. There's a few, and when they're gone, they're gone. So if you're trying to book, say, 2026 in May, and you see a great deal, but you need adjoining cabins, it's going to be tough. I'm not saying they're not there. They might be, but there are fewer there than there were when it was released. The same thing, aft in certain areas that, they're just going to be less of. So pricing can be great, but what are the other factors that you might look for that makes this the trip for you? Because look, if you book in on price and then you get there and you're not happy with the room, you're not happy with what's happening on the ship. It maybe wasn't the ship you want, but it was a good price. In the end, the memories of this cruise, they're not going to be positive. Yeah, you're going to think, oh, great, I spent $300 for a week, and that's an outstanding deal. But I got an interior ship right above the engine room, or the engine room, sorry, they're not there, but say right below
the pool,
the disco or the pool,
yeah.
And you're not going to be happy. Now, we took an interior room on the Royal Caribbean. We took in December that we're going to have another story about.
That later.
We will talk about that later, but I liked it. So don't diss interior rooms. But the third thing is kind of what I just said a little bit there. I led into, does this deal actually fit with how you travel? And so many people don't understand what they want to do when they're traveling, because maybe it's your first cruise. You don't know what to expect. Again, a travel advisor can walk you through this. And look, I am pitching travel advisors, obviously, but one of the biggest things is they're free. But more importantly is that I don't want people taking trips and they just they take them one time and they have a negative view on them. Because what are they going to do? They'll tell all their friends, right? They're going to tell all their friends and colleagues. And then maybe they want to use a travel advisor and they have a negative look on it. So even if you're going to book on your own, which, we can do a ton for you, but maybe you like to book, fantastic. You should do that. You're not going to get all the same advantages that we can get you, even if you do like to do the work, and you might get a better price, but you don't get the room cabins. You don't get to be the pick of stuff. You don't get discounts on maybe the excursions. There's a lot of ifs to that. You do it yourself, great, but just engage us for questions. Because if I want you to be aware of all the things and all the possibilities, so you do the best for the money you're spending, and then you're not dissatisfied immediately because you thought it was good. Your expectations were not improperly set. I say that about all kinds of different things, business and otherwise. Expectations are the number one thing that go wrong. People have an idea that it's going to be one way, and then the reality is something different, and they don't blame themselves.
You spend so much money on.
Well,
you want it to go well.
Money and time too, right? If you're doing this yourself, if you're getting these in and you're like clicking on the link in your email, you might have 5, 6, 7, 8 tabs open. And then maybe you choose one or the other, or you close it or whatever. And then you're like, oh, Mo, I wanted that one better. How do I get back to that? Where do I find out? Where did that email go?
It's gone.
And it's a lot of work, right? And we can do that for you, but it is a lot of work. So today's question is a really simple one. Especially around January, but just deals in general. Have you ever grabbed on one that you saw in your Facebook or your email and you regret it in the end? And if so, why? Say so down in the comments. Let's help other people avoid the same mistakes we made. And I'll tell one on myself that you love to tell. I know you're going to want to chime in on this, but if you've had a good experience, you found one and you locked in on it, tell us why it was a good deal and why you still remember that fondly, so we can learn from that. So
I'm anxious to see.
Know what it's going to be, right? Early on in our marriage, before I ever thought about being a travel advisor, we were going to take a trip to Gatlinburg, and I found, you see, she knows me, and it's a little discouraging that she couldn't think of specifically the one. Okay, but we're locked on the Gatlinburg one. And we found a cabin. We both agreed, but I wanted to look just a little bit further, and I didn't look long. Right, I opened up a few more tabs.
Oh, it was like
And
Maybe 20 minutes.
yeah, I was gonna say half an hour, but 20 minutes could have been that. And I'm like, nope, that was the best one. Okay, so we go back to it. It was gone. It was gone. And so, whether you're an advisor or not, we, as an advisor, we have that happen sometimes too, where people aren't ready to strike and then they are and they go back and it's gone. And I think that's another, that's a bonus point for this, folks.
Mhm.
If you know you're going to travel and you see and you know that there's a deal, because like I said, there aren't a lot of adjoining cabins, there aren't a lot of aft views, there aren't a lot of maybe what you specifically want beyond price. Yeah, the price is good, but you also want X, Y, and Z. When you find it, book it, or at least put a hold on it,
Yeah.
because by the time you come back to it, very likely it's going to be gone, because 2026, a lot of the inventory is already gone. This isn't necessarily
And
scrapped.
sometimes people put holds on them and then they release it and you don't go back and look because you think they're full.
That's true. Maybe you don't understand. Like if
Yeah.
you during wave seasons, very discouraging sometimes for people, because travel advisors are booking people all the
Holding them,
time.
yes.
And we can put, depending on the cruise line, 24 to 48-hour holds on rooms. Well, when we do that, that removes it from the inventory. So you go in on your own and
Mhm.
you're looking on, say, Royal Caribbean's website, and you're looking for the date or indoor the room you want. It's not there. But 48 hours later, 24 hours later, that cruise advisor, their client either changed to a different one or dropped that one, and that one suddenly gets back into the inventory.
Yeah.
But you, because of time, maybe you're doing it on a Sunday when you have time. Now it's work week. You don't have time to go
Or
back and
you
look.
just think it's booked and you
Right.
never go back
And you
look.
never go back and look, where your travel advisor, once you tell them what,
Understands the process.
and they're constantly looking for you. Not
Right.
only that, but once you book it, they're constantly looking for better prices. We just had that happen on our 2027 cruise, way, way off. But a sale came up that not only raised us up in balcony to a different category of balcony cabin, but also gave us a $140 cruise cabin credit that we can use on the cruise. And that's something that, look, I'm not done looking at that. I will look at that all the way through. It's time to make the final payment, because different deals will come up that we can take advantage of, and we can shuffle that. And that's what a travel advisor has the time to go in and look for you to change those. But that's an extra takeaway. But what we want to know today, good or bad, what was your experience? Have you ever had one with a Facebook or an email type of deal? Let us know down in the comments what your experience was, so we can make everyone else a little bit wiser from this particular video. Look for the big ones we have coming up from our month-long trip. We went to a lot of different things. We got a lot of video content to do, and those are going to be rolling out soon. Watch for that soon. Follow and or subscribe to us on YouTube to be able to see all of those coming up. Looking forward to talking to you then. See you next Sunday on a one take. This one's been a little bit longer, but a lot to contact or cover. Stay wonder-worthy, and we'll see you soon.
Thanks for spending a little time with us today. If you enjoyed this and want more insider tips, real travel stories, and deals that make your bucket list closer than you think, be sure to scan the QR code, hit subscribe, or follow. Why? Because every week we bring you ideas that save you money, inspire your next adventure, and show you how to travel smarter without the stress. Don't just dream about travel, make it happen with us. Follow now so you never miss your next chance to wander worthy.